It's your girl Queen, reminding you guys to connect with us on patreon.com/TMG Fam, where you can get full exclusive access to all content, bonus videos, behind the scenes, vlogs, lives, and so much more.
What's good, TMG Fam? It's your boy Ellen the Queen. We back with another reaction video, man. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. Listen, man. Happy New Year, man.
Happy
BTS.
New Year.
She's back. She is back. Listen, man. I wanted to wait. I was going to do this video yesterday, but I was like, nah, I'm going to wait on Queen. We got the Happy New Year 2020 BTS. I think they're on here just giving their New Year wishes or resolutions or something like that.
Oh, because I was going to say, I hope you're not talking about their show.
No. This is them. I think they're just giving their wishes or whatever in this video. Plus, I brought back the BTS storyline summary explanation timeline and theories video. This is, you know how the music videos all had cinematic pieces to it and meanings to it, and they broke it up and give you clues on each video and different things like that. Mm-hmm. This is the explanation of all of that up until this point, because they're still giving out clues and different things now, and you know what I mean? They're continuously adding to it.
Okay.
So we're gonna check that video out and let you get involved too. You know what I mean? So told y'all I was gonna bring her back.
I was just about to say, I thought she was doing something special, you know, but then I'm like, you've already seen it.
I have, but you kind of need to see it again. It's like one of those videos.
Okay.
So you can, I can watch it over and over again just to continue to learn it.
Last night while you was sleeping in the bed talking to my niece Amira. Shout out Amira.
All right, man. So if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. Join the fam, and let's start off with the new year.
새해는 새해 모두 소원도 빌고 그리고 원하는 일도 다 이렇게.
That is so dope and so true. Oh, what's she doing? You gonna move it?
Mm-hmm.
Look at you. He's learning some stuff, y'all.
자, 여러분 새해가 밝았습니다. 새해는 새해 모두 소원도 빌고 그리고 원하는 일도 다 이렇게 계획도 다 적어두지 않습니까? 여러분들 모두 원하는 바도 이루시고 계획도 모두 다 성공하시길 바랍니다. 저는 내년에는 운동을 좀 해볼까 합니다. 이것도 목표예요. 저번 목표는 많이 못 이뤘어요. 네, 저도 어쨌든 올해 목표도 저도 지켜보도록 노력할 테니까요. 여러분들도 모두 한번 저랑 같이 파이팅 해보시죠. 새해 복 많이 받으세요.
I'm with you on that, Jim. I need to get back in my workout routine this year.
Yeah.
I need to get back to that. Yeah. I feel him on that.
I want a headband.
It's a tough goal, but I'm with you.
That's cute.
안녕하세요, 여러분 지민입니다. 일단 2019년 너무 고생하셨고 그리고 새해 복 많이 받으세요. 저희가 참 올해 2019년도 굉장히 많은 일을 함께 했었는데 2020년에도 당연히 훨씬 더 많은 일들이 기다리고 있을 거라고 저는 생각이 들어요. 우선 저 같은 경우는 이제 여러분들한테 해드리고 싶은 얘기는 저는 자꾸 뭔가 더 잘 보여드리고 싶은 게 많은데 아직 미숙한 거에 대해서 굉장히 미안하고, 그렇지만 여러분한테 말씀드리고 싶은 거는 계속해서 포기 안 하고 노력하고 있으니까요. 앞으로 계속 좋은 모습 보여드릴 수 있게 노력해 나가겠습니다. 네, 지켜봐 주셔서 감사하고, 그리고 우리 아미 여러분들은 물론 2019년까지도 정말로 이제 서로 여러분들도 저희도 행복하기 위해서 참 노력을 많이 했었던 것 같아요. 근데 이제 해드리고 싶은 얘기는 너무 어려울 수도 있는 것 같아요. 저는 행복이라는 게 너무 어려운 건 것 같아요. 근데 너무 어려우면 고민하지 마시고 저희와 여러분들이 만들어가는 것도 행복이니까요. 앞으로 모르겠다면 저희랑 같이 이렇게 재밌는 거 많이 하면서 우리 모두 다 행복할 수 있게 그렇게 되었으면 좋겠습니다. 2020년도를 행복하게 만들 수 있도록 화이팅! 감사하고 새해 복 많이 받으시고 사랑합니다 여러분. 감사합니다.
안녕하십니까, 슈가입니다. 네, 어떻게 여러분들 2019년은 어떤 한 해였나요? 여러분들에게 저는 굉장히 치열하고 열심히 살고 또 행복한 한해였습니다. 2020년은 흰 GT의 해라고 합니다. 흰 GT. 흰 GT의 해만큼 뭐 흰 GT면 뭐가 좋냐? 네, 아무튼 네. 아무튼 뭐 흰 GT라고 하네요.
백지.
백지. 네.
백지 같은 한 해를 시작하시죠, 형님.
정말 2020년에도 여러분들이 원하시는 바 다 이루시고요. 못 이룬다 한들 여러분들 좌절하지 마세요. 넘어지는 것보다 일어나는 게 중요하니까요.
Have big goals this year. Hope y'all have big goals. We have big goals as well. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel them. Definitely have the urgency to work harder than we did last year. So I'm definitely aligned with a lot of the things they're saying. You know what I'm saying? And just promoting, you know, positivity, happiness, hard work,
And
all
love.
those things. Love.
Not hate.
No hate. Leave the hate in
Hate
2019.
and darkness. Let's just like leave that all behind.
네, 안녕하세요, 여러분. 2019년, 2010년대 마무리예요. 제가 2010년 4월에 처음으로 이제 그 신사동에 있던 그 빅히트를 왔던 기억이 나요. 2010년 4월이니까 2010년대 시작 아닙니까? 근데 지금 2019년 지금 불과 일주일도 안 남았어요. 지금 한 5일 놔두고 이제 2010년대가 끝나네요. 제 2010년대는 온통 방탄소년단이었어요. 네, 진짜로 2010년 4월부터 제가 고등학교 1학년 여름이었을 때부터 26살 2019년까지 정말 방탄을 빼면 정말 아무것도 없을 정도로 제 2010년대는 정말 오직 방탄으로 기억이 될 것 같고요. 그래서 이제 2020년을 맞는 참 그 마음이 되게 좀 되게 신선하고 좀 되게 신승생성합니다. 네. 정말로 방탄을 시작해서 방탄으로 끝나니까 근데 참 정말 여전히 굉장히 운이 좋다는 생각을 하고요. 제가 지금 할 수 있는 것들에 여전히 감사하면서 또 무엇보다 여러분을 항상 이제 만나러 오잖아요. 예쁘게 단장을 하고 그 순간들이 저한테 더 없는 소중한 순간이고 사실 이 순간을 위해서 제가 2010년대를 보낸 거기 때문에 다가오는 2020년에는 이것들을 이제야 겨우 알았으니까 더 힘껏 즐기고 누릴 수 있는 그런 저의 2020년이 되었으면 좋겠습니다. 정말 여러분들도 새해 복 많이 받으시고요. 2020년 정말 숫자도 특별한 만큼 많은 분들께 20배의 행운과
Hey, did you see that? Did you? No. I think you need to, like, yeah. I hope that's 20 times the fortune. I like that.
20 times the fortune, blessings,
And
and happiness.
분들께 20배의 행운과 축복 그리고 행복이 함께 하시길 바라겠습니다. 사랑합니다.
네, 안녕하십니까. 이제 2020년 새해가 밝았습니다. 아이분들은 정말 2020년에는 2019년에 달성한 것들 2020년에 달성한 것들 그리고 정말 또 이번 해도 정말 건강했으면 좋겠고 항상 하시는 일 정말 행복하게 잘 하셨으면 좋겠습니다. 2019년 정말 고생 많으셨고 2020년도 힘내와 안녕.
네, 여러분들 벌써 2019년이 끝나갑니다. 지금 제가 찍고 있는 날짜는 거의 뭐 26일이죠. 네, 맞죠? 26일 거의 끝나갔는데 참 올 한 해 너무 많은 영광스러운 일들이 있어가지고 진짜 잊지 못할 한 해였던 것 같아요. 네. 그 소중한 추억과 기억들 안에는 여러분들이 있었고요. 네. 너무너무 감사드리고 내년 또 제가 쓰고 있는 또 당황스러운데 내년에 또 GT의 해라고 하네요. 경자년인데 해인데 내년에도 뭔가 그냥 저는 많은 거 안 바라고 2019년처럼 이렇게 여러분들과 함께 하는 그런 나날들이 그리고 그런 행복한 날들이 많았으면 좋겠습니다. 그게 다예요. 네. 2020년 그리고 여러분들의 건강 그리고 우리의 건강 그리고 많은 분들의 건강 저는 첫째도 건강이라고 생각하기 때문에 네, 항상 건강하셨으면 좋겠고 하고자 하는 일들 다 잘 되셨으면 좋겠다라는 생각이 있습니다. 네, 여러분들 항상 감사드리고 사랑한다는 말을 드리고 싶네요. 감사합니다 여러분들. 새해 복 많이 받으세요.
이번 한 해
The baby.
이게 한 해 한 해가 지나가면 지나갈수록 되게 새로운 일들도 많이 생기고 또 평소에 경험하지 못했던 일들도 많이 겪고 되게 다사다난했던 것 같습니다. 새해 저의 목표는요. 일단 그냥 누구도 마음도 그렇고 몸도 그렇고 다치지 않고 행복하게 또 한 해를 잘 마무리할 수 있는 거, 행복하게 마무리할 수 있는 게 제일 최우선인 것 같고요. 그리고 개인적인 목표는 제가 그 하고 싶은 게 정말 많은데 기타를 좀 이거 들으면 아미들이 되게 웃으실 것 같아서 분명 웃으시는 분들이 많을 거예요. 저를 알기 때문에 아미들이 제가 어떻게 변하나 어떻게 그 기타 하나 가지고 이렇게 어떻게 행동하고 어떻게 또 변해가는지 그런 것만.
That's another thing, man. It's like you watching them grow up before your eyes. So that's one thing for him being the youngest. You get to see him go through, you know, a lot of changes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that is like he said. That's gonna be very interesting.
그래서 가벼운 마음으로 봐주시면 될 것 같고요. 저도 이번 목표는 좀 오래 갔으면 좋겠네요. 이제 새해 아미 여러분들께 해주고 싶은 덕담은 그냥 무슨 일이 있어도 어떤 일이 있어도 우리 아미 여러분들은 뭐 힘들 수도 있고 그렇지만 이겨낼 수 있을 거라고 말해주고 싶어요. 그랬으면 좋겠고 그리고 그걸 잘 이겨서 더 나은 사람이 되고 더 행복한 사람이 되기를 바랍니다. 그게 진짜 제 진심이고 여러분들은 잘 하실 거라고 믿습니다. 그러면 이번 GT의 해 GT의 해 2020 더 힘차게 한번 파이팅하면서 앞으로 한번 한 발자국씩 나아가 봅시다. 파이팅!
I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that information up. Everybody says it's the year of the white rat. Like, I want to know the significance behind that, the meaning behind that, and understand, like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just get the backstory, the history, and learn what that means, the positive about that. And I want to know. I'm interested.
Awesome.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound, a dimension of sight, a dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Bangtan universe. So today I'll be summarizing.
Strap in. You ready? Strap in.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Strap in.
What?
This was amazingly
Really?
done. Yes.
Yeah.
The Bangtan universe. Remember that this is just a storyline and not real life events. This was all created by Big Hit themselves. All this information was gathered from the notes, Save Me webtoon, music videos, and clips. Let's start at the beginning where the boys first met. March 2nd, year 19. The boys were late for school, and as punishment, they were all sent to clean a storage room. Through this event, they all became close friends and made this storage classroom their own hideout. They began to create a lot of happy moments together. June 12, year 19. All the boys decided to ditch school to go to the beach. And while they were at the beach, Hoseok suggested to visit a rock that was 3.5 kilometers away. They got to the location only to realize that the rock was no longer there. It was under construction for a seawall. But then they began to yell out their dreams over the loud sounds of the drill. This was when they took the first Polaroid picture at the beach. As time went on, their own hardships began to tear them apart. On May year 20, Namjoon decided to move to the countryside with his brother, mother, and ill father. He was about to write a letter to the boys, but instead, he fogged up the window in their hideout and wrote, "We must survive." And then Namjoon left without saying anything to the boys. Namjoon has always lived in poverty. Him and his family would struggle to come up with money for his father's hospital bills. He did his best to earn money from doing a bunch of part-time jobs. The boys always looked up to him because of how responsible he was, but he felt the pressure. Jaehyung looked up to Namjoon a lot. When he was young, his mother left him and his older sister behind. Both him and his sister grew up getting abused by their alcoholic father. Since Taehyung doesn't open up about his feelings and hardships, the boys don't know what he's going through. June 11, year 20. Seokjin was forced by the principal to reveal their hideout. The principal threatened to tell Seokjin's father about how he was a bad student. A teacher walked into their hideout while Jungkook and Yoongi were playing the piano. The teacher came up and slapped Jungkook. Yoongi became defensive and pushed the teacher. He ended up getting expelled from school, and Jungkook blames himself for what happened. Seokjin lived in a wealthy family. When his mother passed away, his father sent him to the US to live with his grandmothers. His father has always been strict and cold towards him. Seokjin just wanted to make his family proud. September 15, year 20. Hoseok and Jimin were at the bus stop when Jimin ended up having a seizure. He was brought to the hospital. Hoseok wanted to stay by his side, but Jimin's mother turned him away. When Hoseok was about 6 or 7 years old, his mother brought him to a carnival and gave him a chocolate bar. She told him to close his eyes and count to 10. When he opened his eyes, she was gone. She abandoned him, and he ended up living in an orphanage for 10 years. Through this...
It's not real. Okay? First, I just wanted to say, it's not real.
All right. I'm back now.
This event, Hoseok developed narcolepsy, or at least that's what he says.
I totally blacked that part out.
Theory: Hoseok actually doesn't have narcolepsy, but a disorder called Munchausen syndrome. It's a mental disorder in which a person repeatedly or deliberately acts as if he or she has a physical or mental illness when he or she is not really sick. September 28, year 20. Jimin is still in the hospital, and today was a special day for him. He lied for the first time and told the doctors that he didn't remember a thing. When Jimin was about 8 years old, an incident at the flowering laboratorium scarred him for life. Ever since this incident, he began to have seizures, and his parents would keep bringing him to all these hospitals. He ended up transferring to 5 different schools because of this. Theory: Jimin witnessed a little kid's murder at the flowering laboratorium. There was a 5-year-old kid whose last name was Choi. His father's company went bankrupt and men were chasing after him. The men must have brought him to the flowering laboratorium, and Jimin witnessed them killing him. Jimin ended up running away. Now this little kid named Choi is also linked to Seokjin. He was in the same class when 2 men tried to come in and take him. Seokjin saved the boy and brought him over to his house to hide, but then the men came over there. Seokjin's father let them in and stopped Seokjin from helping the boy. September 30, year 20. Jungkook would go to their secret hideout every day in hopes of one day seeing them all gather together again. In the end, they didn't. it was just Hoseok and Jungkook. Jungkook relied on the boys a lot. His father left him when he was 7, so he lived with his mother, stepfather, and stepbrother. Now he would get abused by his stepbrother while his stepfather and mother just watched and did nothing. So his family were the boys, who were now falling apart. He was very close to Yoongi, and they were the ones who would always go to the hideout to play the piano together. Yoongi has always loved making music, but when he was about 15 years old, his house caught on fire with his mother still inside. She passed away. She was the reason why Yoongi started to play the piano, because she used to play it herself. Him and his father didn't have a good relationship, and it seems as if his father didn't want him to continue making music anymore. Theory: Yoongi's mom was the one who started the fire to commit suicide. Now the story goes on. Namjoon
Told you to strap in. I told you to strap in. Yes, it's intense and it's a lot. That's why I say I could definitely watch it again and again. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot to take in because of the emotions you're feeling right now. Those very emotions that are going through you right now.
You know better than to do this to me.
Hey.
This is not real.
It's not real.
This is not real.
It's not real.
Are you lying?
I am not lying. She said it in the beginning.
I know what she said, but I'm gonna be like, you're the one that's here that's gonna feel this.
Keep going.
Okay.
There's 7 minutes and
left for the countryside without.
Okay, I'm gonna need a break. This should be broken up.
You got it. We got it. We're gonna make it through.
Without telling anyone, but ends up coming back after over a year and lives in a container. Seokjin transferred to a school in Los Angeles without a word. Taehyung's whereabouts were always unknown. Yoongi never showed up after being expelled from school. Jimin never came back to school after going to the hospital. Hoseok was now working a part-time job at a burger joint, and sometimes he would see Jungkook in his school uniform. April 11, year 22. Seokjin finally came back to Korea after 2 years and 10 months. He drove to a gas station and spotted Namjoon working there. He decides not to say hi though and ended up driving away. May 22nd, year 22. Seokjin begins to wonder what the other boys were doing now. He decides to go back to the gas station to visit Namjoon. But when he got there, he found out that Namjoon ended up going to jail. He got his phone number and went to visit him. Namjoon revealed that he got into jail after getting into a fight with a customer. Hoseok was in the hospital after a bad accident. He didn't know where Taehyung and Jimin were, and that both Jungkook and Yoongi were dead. Seokjin was heading out of the police office when he saw Taehyung outside.
Now you know it's not real, right?
No.
I'm saying those two were.
Yes.
Of the
And I'm just like,
entrance.
I don't. The story.
He was
is just-
tied up and convicted of murder. Taehyung murdered his father and was going to jail. Seokjin went back to the beach they once visited back in high school. Where did it all go wrong? He asked himself. Then a voice spoke to him. If you could turn back time, do you believe you can straighten out the errors and mistakes and save everyone? He woke up and it was April 11 again. He thought it was all a dream and continued his day like nothing had happened. He went to the gas station, saw Namjoon, then again decided not to say hi. And he began to drive through an alley when a body landed on the hood of his car. Then he realized it was Jungkook. His heart begins to beat fast and everything shattered like a mirror around him. And it was April 11 again. He kept thinking everything was a dream, and so the same.
You remember a movie like this we watched?
Yes.
What?
I can't think of it right now, but I know what you're talking about.
Describe it a little bit for me. Can you describe it?
No, because my brain is still stuck on the beginning part of this. You know how I am. Why you just don't give me a break? I need a break right now.
I'm about to.
Right now.
Remember how we would watch The Butterfly Effect?
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Same things happened again. He went to the gas station, didn't say hi to Namjoon, and this time he was walking down the alley when Jungkook's body dropped behind him. Everything shattered and a voice spoke to him again. You won't make it out here alone in this entangled destiny. Here's how to remember the loop. Once you open your eyes. Now, he began to see fragments of the previous timelines he was in. Seokjin finally realized that he's been going back in time. Now, things get super complicated during this journey. He begins to find out how each of the boys get in trouble and how they die. But every time he traveled back in time, a few things would change, and that's because of the butterfly effect. Butterfly effect, a part of the chaos theory that states that one small change in a situation can drastically change the outcome of an event. Now, I personally recommend you reading the Save Me webtoon for a more detailed story because it gets super complicated because he travels back so many times in order to save everyone. So it's a mess. For now, I'll give you the order of events for each member along with their reasons. On April 11, year 22, Namjoon gets into a fight with a customer at the gas station. This event caused him to be sent to prison. He's been dealing with rude customers all the time, but this time he had enough. And you could say he was tired of being looked down on. Later that night on April 11, Jungkook falls off the building of a construction site and dies. He no longer stayed in contact with the boys, and he felt like his family didn't care. Quote, "That gave me the idea that I could die if I just took one more step. But would death bring the end of anything? No one would be sad if I was not around anyways." May 2nd, year 22. Yoongi burns himself in a motel or hotel. The location keeps changing every time. There's like 3 different hotels. But he also tries to burn himself on April 29 and May 10 during different timelines because of the butterfly effect. Now, Yoongi would always go around town drunk. He kept his distance from everyone he cared about because he felt like he would always hurt them. He thought it was better to just end the pain. May 10, year 22. Hoseok falls down and hits his head while walking on a bridge. And on May 12, year 22, now he was at the hospital for a checkup after hitting his head from having narcolepsy. And he thought he saw
Don't my sister have that? Yes, she does.
his mother and tried to chase her down the stairs, but ended up
You know she gonna see. She may possibly see this, right? And you just
Love you. Mwah.
hold on.
slipping.
You're gonna get in trouble.
I didn't say her name though. Love you.
May 12, year 22. Jimin tries to drown himself in the bathtub at the hospital. Now, Jimin's been stuck in the hospital for years. His mother wouldn't let him out because they were ashamed of his sickness, and he just wanted to be free. May 20, year 22. Taehyung murdered his father and went to jail. He came home to his father beating up his sister, and without thinking, he broke open an alcohol bottle and used it to stab his father. May 22nd, year 22. Taehyung ends up jumping off the viewing platform by the ocean in front of the boys in a different timeline. Seokjin discovered all these events one at a time after multiple failures, multiple attempts. It was just such a mess. But these are solutions he found during the Save Me webtoon. April 11. He gets to Namjoon at the gas station before he gets into a fight, then rushes over to Jungkook at the construction site to stop him. May 2nd. He then has to figure out which building Yoongi will start a fire in, and bust in to save him because Yoongi would choose like 3 different buildings all the time. May 10, he catches Hoseok from falling on the bridge. Then he kidnaps Jimin from the hospital. After so many tries, Seokjin finally gathered everyone together. They all met up at Namjoon's container place and celebrated. It seemed as if everyone was happy, but then Seokjin let his guard down. He totally forgot about Taehyung stabbing his father. He traveled back in time again, and this time he decided to give Taehyung a ride, hoping to get something out of him. As soon as he dropped him at his home, they heard screams from his place. Taehyung darted towards his place as Seokjin realized that talking to him was probably not enough. He chased after him and came into the room while he was beating up his dad. Seokjin tried to stop him, but instead, he ended up getting stabbed instead. April 11 again. This was when Seokjin realized that he can't save everyone on his own. Theory. In the next season of the webtoon, we're still going to go through so many failures, such as Taehyung jumping off the platform by the ocean, and also Namjoon potentially burning himself in his container. This was actually part of Taehyung's dreams, which I forgot to mention. Taehyung has these nightmares of the past timelines. He thinks they're all a dream, but these things actually happened. Now, we're still trying to figure out though if these dreams are of the past timeline or can he see the future. But anyways, I'll give you my theory as to how each member will be saved. In the notes, Seokjin decides to keep a distance from the other boys and leave hints and clues behind for them to find. You'll understand what I mean in just a second. So Seokjin goes to the gas station to save Namjoon. After that, I don't know what exactly Seokjin does, but Hoseok ends up contacting all the boys to invite them over to Namjoon's container house, which is how Yoongi ended up calling Jungkook's phone before he was about to fall off the building. Now, in order to save Yoongi, Seokjin uses Jungkook. Taehyung actually spotted Seokjin in the act of helping. He sent Jungkook to visit Yoongi at his workroom, which ended with Yoongi running out and running to the motel/hotel. Seokjin left clues in front of the building entrance in order to help Jungkook find Yoongi. Jungkook makes it to the motel and saves Yoongi from the fire. And instead of Seokjin saving Hoseok from falling on the bridge and hitting his head, he lets that happen. Why? So Jimin can meet Hoseok. So Hoseok ends up in the bed next to Jimin at the hospital. When Hoseok was about to fall down the stairs after chasing who he thought was his mother, Jimin was there to catch him. Since Hoseok didn't fall and get hurt again, he was released from the hospital. Hoseok and the boys went back to kidnap Jimin. Before leaving, they had a little party in the hospital lounge with snacks and soda. A nurse ends up catching them and they all ran out of the exit together. Seokjin then used Hoseok to save Taehyung. Hoseok dropped Taehyung home, and just when he was about to leave, Seokjin called him over the phone and asked him to call Taehyung. This made him go into Taehyung's house just before the fight was about to happen. May 22nd, year 22. This is a day that Seokjin couldn't get past, and finally he was able to celebrate with everyone being alive. Now they all went back to the ocean where they made their wishes back in high school. Everything was all happy, or at least you thought. Now, something must have happened because Taehyung became super sensitive. Now, I don't know if it's because he overheard Namjoon's conversation over the phone and thought he was talking about him, but Namjoon was actually talking about his younger brother, or maybe a mixture of Taehyung already suspecting that Seokjin was hiding something. But anyways, they were at a place by the ocean when Seokjin was about to confess. He said he had something to tell everyone, and it's something he should have said a long time ago when they were back in high school. Now, Taehyung ends up interrupting him by saying, "When you ratted on us to the principal, or when Yoongi got kicked out of school because of that?" Then that's when the famous line came in. The whole, "Seokjin, is that all? Aren't you hiding something from us?" Now, Namjoon tries to calm him down, but then he said, "What is all the fuss about being together? What are we to each other? We are all alone at the end." That's when Seokjin punched him and a fight broke out. In the end, Seokjin must have went back into the past again. But in another timeline, Seokjin leaves before all this happens. So when the boys got to the ocean by the observation tower, Seokjin climbs it. But then Taehyung follows after him. And after a while, Seokjin climbs back down, got into his car, and drove off, leaving the boys with no ride. Later the same night, Jungkook got hit by a car. Theory: I believe it was Seokjin. Now there are clues in the notes pointing to him, especially with Jungkook being suspicious of Seokjin that night, and we'll wait and see though. After the day, May 22nd, they all fell apart and didn't contact each other much. This is when the highlight reels come in. Hoseok was the first person who heard about Jungkook's car accident. He was working at the burger joint when Jungkook's classmates came in and talked about the incident. Hoseok and Jimin came to visit him after he was unconscious for 10 days, and they were upset that he didn't contact them immediately. Taehyung rushed to the hospital, but when he got there, he heard Namjoon and Seokjin talking, and he couldn't bring himself to go in. Jungkook ends up meeting a girl at the hospital who helped him stay positive during his recovery. Yoongi was making music again, and with the help of a girl who played the guitar. She was giving him free solo performances at school and hospitals, and he was supposed to join her at the hospital the next day. Ever since he got addicted to his work again, he would lose sense of time. He wouldn't answer phone calls or check his messages. Finally, he charged his phone, but then his phone rang, and it was a phone call from Jimin. Jimin told him about Jungkook's car accident the night they all came back from the beach. So Yoongi went crazy. He made it to the hospital, but he couldn't bring himself to go in. He felt like all of this was his fault. Jungkook went outside with the girl he met at the hospital. They were hanging out, sitting on a bench, and he began to sketch until he heard a familiar song. Now, it was a song that Yoongi would play during high school. He looked over and it was the girl with the guitar. He got closer and noticed a lighter hanging on her guitar with the initials YK. Taehyung is now all alone. He catches a girl stealing at a convenience store, and they run into each other a couple more times and ends up basically becoming friends. They spent about a month together until one day, they were spraying graffiti at the bus station Namjoon usually stops at. And the cops began to chase after them until they were cornered. Taehyung ends up surrendering, and then after being released, the girl was nowhere to be found. Jimin ends up going back home after they returned from the beach. After he ran away from the hospital, he lived with Hoseok. Now it was time to go back. His mother ended up forcing him to join an academy, and he also decided that he wanted to dance, so he joined Hoseok's Just Dance class. During dance practice, Jimin and Hoseok's friend collided. Instead of him reacting to the girl getting hurt, he ends up running into the bathroom to wash the blood off his arm in a panic. Now, this reminded him of what happened at the flowering laboratorium. And as soon as he realized what had happened, he ran after Hoseok and the girl with an umbrella to help out, but stopped and turned back around. Hoseok carried the girl in the rain to the hospital. In the process, he ended up hurting his ankle. They made it to the hospital, and the doctor told him that she just had a mild concussion. Hoseok discovers a plane ticket to the US in her backpack, though. He realized that she had passed the overseas dance team audition. She became conscious and was ready to go home. When they were at the entrance, she was about to tell him about her going to the US, but instead, Hoseok avoided it and made an excuse to get an umbrella. Namjoon becomes interested in a girl he's been seeing every day for a month. They would take the same bus.
It's a lot, right?
Yes.
It's a lot.
But I'm here for it, so please don't stop it.
To study in this.
You was wanting me to stop it. Now.
Yes. At first, it's like I heard her say, this is not real.
Mhm.
I read the words, but somewhere that said pew, and I was like, what do you got me? Really?
same library before he'd go to work at night. Now, he's never spoken a word to her, but began to wonder what she does and what kind of things she's been enduring. It's probably because she reminded him of himself. He got her a hair tie but ended up leaving it on her backpack when she was asleep on the bus. Eventually, each of the boys begin to rediscover themselves and realize they want to become a better person. Taehyung no longer wanted to be the same and wanted to protect his sister and father, his family. Hoseok decided to leave town and was gone for a while to heal his injured foot. During that time, he helped out a performance group and even toured with them for a little bit. They asked him to officially join their group, but then he realized he needed to go back home. And so he finally comes back to congratulate his friend for going overseas. Yoongi ended up losing the guitar girl, but even though he's given up on music countless of times, he'd always start music again. And this time, he didn't want to run away from it anymore. Jimin continued to dance and would practice by himself every night. He wanted to commit to something and prove that he was good at it. Namjoon thought back to his high school years. Everything he had given up on, he wanted to start it again. Jungkook was the only one who seemed to be off, especially after the car accident. Now, he was just trying to figure out what happened that night. Now, all the boys planned on meeting up for the yearly fireworks on August 30, year 22. It was Hoseok's idea to get everyone together, and after he returned from taking a break, their group chat started buzzing again. Now there's Seokjin. In July, Seokjin saw a girl drop her diary while crossing the railroad tracks. In that diary was her wish list of things to do. He ends up meeting up with her and doing everything she's been wanting to do, but then he never told her that he had her diary. One of the things on her wish list was Smeraldo flowers. Seokjin was able to find a shop he could order through, but they wouldn't be able to get a hold of it until August 30. Seokjin was thinking of confessing his love for her with the flowers while the fireworks bursted in the sky. That was his plan. But of course, that's not what happened. Seokjin was able to receive the bouquet of Smeraldo flowers from the delivery truck. He discovered that there was no card in the bouquet and immediately called the owner. "Ah, I'll make a U-turn now, the light just changed." That's what the owner said. But before the owner finished his sentence, the girl came into view and began to walk towards him across the road. Then, bam! She got hit by the truck. He stood there helplessly, then heard a mirror crack. Theory: Seokjin travels back again. Now, I don't know when he travels back to, since the only date we know is April 11, but dang, that is far. So he must have traveled back to August 30 before he met up with the girl, which explains this clip of him catching the vase like he knew it would fall, and instead of changing it to a suit looking all happy and cute, he's now sad and upset. Instead of getting more involved with the girl, he ends up just giving back her diary and apologizing for having it. The diary acted as a starting and stopping point for them. He then realized he tried to be someone else he wasn't. He tried to follow everything in that diary and realized that only by being true to himself can he continue to move forward. So he stood up after giving her the diary and she didn't try to stop him. Now, there were a lot of things that were left out, and I felt like they were super important keys, but I don't really know which timeline this falls under. At one point when Seokjin went back in time, he was searching for the map of the soul. This was the only hint that he was given, supposedly, and he began to search every bookstore and library. Another important key is the note from August 3, year 22. When the boys brought Seokjin into their old hideout from high school. Quote, "Memories. What Taehyung called memories were stories that did not mean anything to me, that I had done such things, that there had been such things that happened to me, and that we had done things together, such stories. It could be that those things were true, it felt like they were, but remembering is not the same as understanding or accepting. Experiences are not things you can simply hear or figure out. They are things that have to be rooted in your heart, head, and spirit. Doesn't it sound like Seokjin lost his memory or something? Taehyung tries to stop Seokjin from leaving and they end up getting into a physical fight. All of a sudden, they knock down a wall that they never knew was there in their hideout.
You two are always fighting. It's the second time in this story.
On the other side of the wall was a chained cabinet. They opened it and found a notebook. Now, it wasn't just any notebook. It was the diary of Seokjin's father. Which brings us back to the note from June 25th, year 19. When Seokjin noticed the sentence, "Everything started from here," written in the storage room. His father attended the same school as him, and he wondered if his father also came to the same storage room to hide out in. Did Seokjin's father also have the ability to travel back in time? And yep, that's all I have so far for this timeline. I did my best to summarize what I could, but also include the details you needed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I mean, this isn't the end, obviously, since BTS will be releasing more notes and more content about the storyline. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to click that like button and join the Flare Squad by subscribing, you guys. Thanks for watching.
Oh, she's dope.
That was amazing to even put that together.
She is dope.
That had to take a lot.
Crazy. Like,
so how do you feel?
One, I'm good. It's not, it's not real. Whew. Jeez, my heart can take it. Two, like, I'm just like, you know how I binge watch and get all in like that? This just took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And it's just so crazy how they wrote it and how it all intertwines and how deep it's going. And it's like, yeah, I want the next part. Like, yeah, so yeah.
This was well written, well thought out, well planned, well executed. The whole storyline is just amazing.
And I'm a serial binge watcher too, so I gotta get it like.
It's layered. It's so layered that it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is crazy.
It's a lot. This is something that's like, I don't know. To me, it just feels like a treasure hunt. You're trying to find it. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to understand.
And you're just drawn into it.
Trying
and
to
you
put
just
this puzzle together.
Oh my
gosh.
So
many pieces and parts to it. It's different, and nobody's doing nothing like this in the game. So salute to them, man.
Awesome.
This is awesome. So y'all get at us in the comment section. Let us know what y'all think. And what did y'all think about Queen's reaction to it? Was it what y'all expected? I know it was what I expected. I knew you was going. That's why as soon as the first time you hit the space bar, I said it's not real. I knew how you were gonna react.
I was like,
when you know somebody, you know somebody. I'm telling y'all, when you know somebody, you know somebody. I knew how she was gonna react. I knew it.
That wasn't the first words.
I knew it. As soon as you hit the space bar, I was like, it's not real. I knew where you were going. So y'all get at us, man. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. Join the fam. And stick around and stay tuned to the next reaction. We out. Peace, y'all. Stay solid. Hey.